All right, Sean Zattel, fresh back from Los Angeles after covering the Crawford Madrimov fight, and with my man, the 2023 broadcaster of the year from the Boxer Writers Association, my man Tim Bradley. What's going on, Tim? What'd you think of? Well, first of all, how you doing, man? And what'd you think of the card over the weekend?
I'm doing good, man. I'm chilling, at the soccer field as always. Doing my thing with my kids, man. They playing in the Surf Cup, so got a couple of them in the finals already. Um, I had one just lost in the finals, so they were finalists. And then I got one going to be playing here real soon in the finals, doing very well. But I thought the card last well last weekend, or I should say this past weekend, I thought it was long. Thought it was a long ass card, man. Like I ain't never watched an event that long on TV ever. Um, you know, um, I watched a couple of the fights early on. Like I watched the jury fight. I saw the Isa Cruz fight. I watched that one. I skipped to Andy Ruiz and the whatever his name,
Terrell
Jamal
Miller.
what Joel Miller. Yeah, I skipped that. I didn't want to see that. I knew that fight was gonna be terrible. See what else? Who else did I watch? And then of course the Crawford fight. I watched that one. That was a really it was a great fight from I want to say a more technical and tactical approach by both fighters. Um, it was interesting to see Madrimov not be himself. Yeah, he had the herky jerky, the hands moving, and all the feints and stuff like that. But it's real interesting to see him not be as comfortable letting his hands go as you usually see him in many fights. Usually he's usually dictating the pace coming forward and using his jab and picking down low. But man, he didn't do any of that, man. And that's a testament to where Crawford's skill set is and what Crawford's able to do. Um, he hurt Madrimov several times throughout the course of the night, bro. He hurt him. No, he didn't get the finish. And Crawford felt those punches too. They were heavy. It was weird because one of those right hands, it pushed Crawford back like 3 feet, man. He got hit with the right hand, and I seen him get pushed back. I was like, yo, that's a heavy ass punch that Madrimov just threw and landed. But Crawford took it well, took it like a G. He boxed well. He came out. He looked sharp. I mean, think about this, people. After a year off, dude, and to look that sharp, the way Crawford looked, bro, that is exceptional. That's remarkable, bro. He looked super sharp early on, super duper sharp early on. Madrimov was a lot more patient than again what we seen him in the past. And I will say this, like the champion, the champion didn't defend his belt like a champion. Now what do I mean by that? He just did enough just to compete. He didn't do enough to win the fight. I thought that he should have stepped on the gas, or he could. He had chances. I felt there were times where you're hearing from his corner to him to go down to the body and take a little bit more chances, and he wouldn't. Whereas Crawford, he did everything. I mean, Crawford led, he ended, he finished, he started, and he finished combinations. I mean, he moved. He counterpunched effectively. He stepped inside the pocket. He walked Madrimov down in spots. Man, he did everything. He did everything to win the fight. Whereas Madrimov, he stayed comfortable within himself, didn't want to take any chances, didn't want to risk getting hurt or getting caught with anything flush, on the chin, because again, those punches hurt that were coming from Crawford. They were heavy shots. Um, One interesting note that I saw is Crawford had Grant gloves on. Uh, I went back and I saw on social media that his other gloves, I guess, were ripped or something. He had Everlast gloves on. Well, when you have Grant gloves on and you wear them for the first time, they're really, you got the foam type, and then you also have the horsehair type. But they're a really well made glove that protect your hands, and I've used them in the past, and I know that they're um a lot of cushion. There's a lot of foam on them, man. It's really, really hard to really. You get guys that can hurt guys, but it definitely takes some of the oomph off your punch when you use Grant gloves. It's nothing against Grant gloves. They fantastic gloves. They protect your hands very, very well, dude. And that's the reason why I use them, because they protect my hands. But they definitely lighten up the load a little bit, I feel, from my experience in using Grant gloves. And no offense to Elvis or anybody like that, man. Elvis is a good guy. He has a good brand, good gloves. But again, just like winning gloves, same thing. Winning gloves. And you remember when Pacquiao, I believe when he fought against Morales,
In the first
and
fight.
he was
Yep.
like, we had a first fight, and he was
Yeah.
just like, man, it's these gloves. They not the gloves I'm used to. They not the Reyes gloves, the puncher's glove. Um, and so it's a similar situation here. But when Crawford put those combinations together, he was hurt. He was hurting Madrimov, man. He was hurting him, and he was hurting him badly. And Madrimov was just for me, he was just too inconsistent. I scored the fight 116, 112. I didn't have it as close as everybody did. 115, 113. I didn't. Crawford, he won in the jab department. Madrimov is a guy that liked the jab. Crawford took that away from him, and he just depended upon the right hand. And he landed it well in spots, but it was single shot here, single shot there, where Crawford was, he was landing his jab consistently, controlling the action, dictating the pace of the fight and how the fight was going to be fought at, and landing combinations. And again, taking risks. He took risks on the back end of the fight to secure the victory, whereas you have the champion who should have took more risks to defend his title, in my opinion. He should have went out there. He should have brought it to Crawford. Maybe he would have swept some of those last rounds, and maybe he could have got a decision. But he didn't do that. He just played it real comfortable and safe, man. And that says again a lot about Crawford and what Crawford does inside that ring, man. He's a wizard, man. He is. He truly is. He's a phenomenal fighter, man. Once in a generational talent. Um, it's gonna be tough to beat him. I'm telling y'all right now, it's gonna be tough to beat him. Did you not see the grit? Did you not see the grit at during that
Well,
11 and 12?
well, yeah, 11 and 12. Yep, is
Yeah,
when he turned it up to a place that Madrimov didn't keep up with, and Madrimov wouldn't attempt to exchange with him because he knew Terence could, that's when Terence could have hurt him and maybe even got him out of there in an exchange. But
but
Madrimov did hit him with a lot of right hands. And
yeah.
I had the same score as you, 116, 112,
So
Terence. Yeah, go
so
ahead.
those right hands that Madrimov was landing, it was because Crawford was standing in front, and Crawford wasn't using his rhythm. Usually, when Crawford starts getting time with shots, he usually goes in this rhythm base. Like he'll move his hands and he'll change his rhythm. He didn't do that this time. He kept tight on the high. He kept tight really with the high guard most of the time, because again he felt that power. But usually he would go into this like rhythm type of fighters as well, and change his rhythm up so that way he won't get timed. But he didn't do that. But he got caught just sleeping. Madrimov closed the gap really quick. His feet are quick. But you didn't see all the angles. You didn't see none of the southpaw. You didn't see any of the stuff that we seen Madrimov on film do. You didn't see him do that. He's played it safe, and he played it, just fought a disciplined type of fight. Because again, he couldn't. He knew he couldn't make mistakes after a while. And when he did try something, Crawford nullified that with his offense. So Crawford's a bad man, dude. I don't everybody's praising Madrimov because he did well. He's the champion. He's a champion, but he did okay. He did all right. And just because he did well, I mean, we giving all this dude all these flowers, man. You forgetting about who won?
Won the
Who
fight.
won was Crawford. Crawford won the fight, hands down. But we sitting here and saying, "Oh, Madrimov made him. Did he expose him?" Madrimov didn't expose nothing. Madrimov got his behind whooped. He got beat. Period. Whether you had a 115, 113, he got beat. Almost don't count. That almost stuff don't count, man. He got smacked. Now, did he land some shots? Yeah, of course. It's boxing. That's gonna happen. He timed those right hands very, very well. But did he knock out Crawford? Did he hurt Crawford? Did he take over the fight? Absolutely not. Crawford was in total control the entire fight. Total control. So I don't think people understand, man. Like, this dude went from 135 pounds to 140, 4 divisions. He won 4 divisions. This dude that he fought is a naturally bigger guy. Fought at 54 his entire career. I believe he fought higher in the amateurs, in the higher weight in the amateurs, maybe 152 or 165, somewhere around that weight he fought in the amateurs. And Crawford coming from 135 pounds. Think about that. Think about how great that is. Think
Well, he
about the
joined.
risk that it takes.
I think he's. I'd have to check again, but I think he's only the fifth guy to ever do it. I think it's Pacquiao, Mayweather, De La Hoya, and Roberto Duran are
Yeah.
the other guys who've gone from 35 to 54.
That feat is no joke, man. That feat is no joke. And then look at his lean body structure,
And Shane
Crawford's
Mosley. Shane
frame.
Mosley did it too. Sorry.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and it's not like everybody's looking at the 10 fights or the 11 fights and stuff like that. It's like, yo, that's not. This is the guy that fought his debut. He went 10 rounds. How many guys can say that they went 10 rounds in their debut? Name a guy. Lomachenko? Who else? Who else can you name? I mean, off the top, off the rip. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's some guys out there, but these guys are different. And so when you having 300, some almost close to 400 amateur fights, you're considered a pro already. You know, and so I expected the fight to be tough, but I knew Terence was going to dominate. I thought Terence dominated. I didn't think it was again. I didn't think it was that close, 115, 113. Again, I'm not a judge. I thought it was 116, 112. You know, competitive in some spots, but for the most part, I never doubted Crawford was going to lose this fight. Not once did I doubt he was going to lose this fight. Um, and moving forward, I think everybody heard from Crawford after this experience and after feeling how strong this guy is. Crawford knows that a Canelo fight moving forward would be a difficult fight. Crawford knows that, but that's still not going to make him shy away from it. It's still not going not allow him to believe in himself and believe that he can still do it. Everybody can say that he can't do it. I'm not gonna sit here and say that he can't, because as of right now, he's still undefeated. Nobody has beaten him, and if he goes up to a 160, 68 pounds, it's definitely a dangerous fight. I can see it. Canelo's a strong bull. He's probably one of the strongest guys at 168, if not the strongest. And Crawford just fought a strong bull at 154 pounds. Different weight, I get it. Different weight class, I get it. And there's weight classes for a reason. But again, Crawford ain't no regular fighter. He's a once in a generational type of fighter. This is the Bud Crawford era. Guys are now trying to copy and beat Bud Crawford, including Boots Ennis, including other young guys that are switch hitting. I'm seeing a lot more guys switch hitting nowadays than I have in the past. So I wouldn't count Crawford out, man. I wouldn't count him out of any fight. I think he has the tenacity. I think he has the mindset and the work ethic to be able to accomplish whatever he wants to accomplish in the sport. Win, lose, or draw against Canelo, if he was shell to fight him, at least he's willing to take that risk. Most guys ain't willing to take risks in the sport. But I believe Crawford. I don't think it's just about the money. I think it's more so about the legacy that he would uphold if he was to beat Canelo. You know how big that'd be, bro? That'd be huge. I remember Sugar Ray Robinson trying to do something like that, move up in weight like
Yeah,
that.
52 against Joey Maxim
Yeah,
at Yankee Stadium. Lost it.
yeah.
Heat
So
stroke, 13th round.
it's never been done before. You know, it's never been done before. But we want to knock a guy that wants to attempt to be great. Crawford is not no damn. Just put it this way, Crawford ain't no damn Charlo. He ain't no Charlo. I'm sorry, he's not. Um, Crawford got more heart and more balls than Charlo, bro. More heart, more balls, and he got more skills. So he's stepping there with Canelo. Believe it or not, I think he'll do well. I think he'll do well against Canelo. Everybody's saying he's gonna get knocked off the block, this and that. Canelo had a different style, I believe, in Madrimov. Way different style. You're not gonna. He doesn't faint like he doesn't do all those feints and stuff. Yes, Canelo does have feints, but he's not like Madrimov. His footwork is not like Madrimov. He's a little bit more plodding forward. A lot of times over his front knee. There's a lot of things that Crawford can do to be able to control Canelo without even throwing a punch. That I see. He can keep Canelo off balance. He can land his combinations, and everybody's saying, "Well, he can't hurt Canelo. He can't hurt Canelo." No, well, he can just hit the shit out of him for 12 rounds.
Hmm.
You don't necessarily gotta hurt him. You just gotta keep him honest and keep him thinking, and he can crack him hard enough to get his respect. For sure, he'd be fine.
Well, I get what you're saying. Definitely that Crawford's a greater fighter than Jermell Charlo is, but at the same time, sorry, I got these phones going off. But at the same time, Charlo is a career 154 pounder, and
Yep.
I know he doesn't have the skills Crawford has, but Crawford started at 35, and Charlo, despite being almost 6 feet tall, big 154 pounder his whole career. He was on his bike, and Canelo was still able to find that moving target and line him up with a right hand, the same kind of shot Madrimov kept touching Terence with, a right hand against the southpaw. So, do you think Crawford or Canelo could land that right hand against Crawford the same way he did against Charlo, and the same way Madrimov did against Crawford? And I know you said Terence can do well against Canelo, but ultimately, does he beat Canelo?
You know, I don't know. I don't know if he can beat Canelo. But I still would like to see it. I think if Canelo doesn't fight, if Canelo doesn't fight Benavidez, I think the next safest route for him is Crawford. Why not? Canelo right at this point is about the money. He's gonna make a lot of money if he was to face Crawford. Um, I would say it's probably a little less risk than a fighting Benavidez. You know, um, I don't care how you guys put it, but Crawford's a smaller guy. Um, and if he can get the amount of money that he wants to face a Crawford, then I think it'll be smart for him. But as you know, um, uh, what's the guy name wants to put it on? I forgot his name.
Turki Alalshikh.
Oh yeah, Turkey. Yeah, as you know, Turkey wants to make that fight happen. From the looks of things, I guess he's already made an offer. I don't know how the rumors, what the rumors are saying that, but he's already made an offer to Canelo. We'll see if Canelo accept the offer or counter. I'm not sure, but again, look, man, anything is possible, man. Anything is possible.
I think
Um,
I gotta check the full video, but I see headlines saying that Canelo would entertain Crawford if the money's right, but not from Turkey's offer. And that I don't know. I gotta look into it. But maybe that's because Turkey's he's going at Canelo. He's saying we will eat you head to head on the UFC versus boxing on Mexican Independence Day, and then he said at the Riyadh season card in LA, if he's smart, he'll take my offer. So I don't know if Canelo goes for that.
nah, I don't think so either. Canelo is his own boss, and he's not going to bend over for anybody. Canelo's in a condition where he can do whatever he wants to do. And what I mean by that is that he knows he's a big draw. He knows he doesn't need Turkey to make his money. And he's the face of boxing at this current moment. So, and he ain't gonna take orders from nobody because Canelo is his own boss. So, Turkey. Speaking of that, man, I don't know. Turkey's trying to somewhat bully Canelo. But at the same time, I feel like he's hurting boxing in a sense. You can't say that you want to help boxing and then go against boxing when you have the face of boxing that's going to be fighting. For me, that just doesn't make any sense.
Right.
That go against everything that you said that you're trying to do for boxing. And to go head to head, especially with a different sport altogether. So, I don't like those actions whatsoever. But again, this is a guy that pretty much can buy whatever he wants. He can buy his friends. He can buy fighters. As you see him doing it right now. You know, he understands exactly what these fighters want, and he's willing to give it to them as long as again they follow suit and do what he asks them to do. you know, which is crazy. It's crazy to me, man. It's unbelievable. But boxing is a poor man's sport, man. If you can come up, if there's somebody willing to pay you, guess what? These fighters they're gonna do whatever it takes to get that check, but they don't realize what comes along with that check. And I would say this: all money ain't good money. I say that when I play dominoes, and I'm gonna say it now: all money ain't good money. I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it at that. So
I heard that growing up too, from people. So, yep. But so with with Crawford though, you said it's the Terence Crawford era.
it is.
Is he still number one pound for pound over Usyk and Inoue?
Look, man, I got Usyk at number one, man. Because of dude, what Usyk has done is unbelievable. What Usyk has done in the heavyweight division. I think the heavyweight division is one of the hardest, if not the hardest division in boxing. It's the king, and Usyk was able to become undisputed in both, and he beat Joshua and Fury, dude. I mean, dude, those two names right there alone, bro, it's massive. So he is currently my number one still, but Crawford is right not too far from him. I would say, as far as skill for skill, I think Crawford is the best fighter in the world. Skill for skill. Now, depending on how you how you line up or frame up on what your criteria is for being the number one fighter in the world, that's on you. It's subjective. But I'm just telling you guys that, yeah, Crawford is the best fighter in the world. I think he's the most skillful fighter in the world, more than anyway, more than Usyk, more than everybody. But what Usyk was able to do, man, and beating Fury. I mean, that's that. I mean, dude, that's hard. It's hard. That's hard to beat. That is hard to beat. Now, if Crawford was to go up and beat a guy like Canelo Alvarez, and by far he'd be the number one for sure in my book. He just won another world championship in a different weight class, which is exceptional, which is remarkable. And at the same time, uh, you know, going from 135 to 154, bro, I mean, that's great. Now, if Crawford, just put it this way, if Crawford now, if he can become undisputed at 154, then you can't deny him that number one spot either. He can do that, come undisputed at 54. And then, or if he beats Canelo, for sure, for sure, I think he'll pass Usyk then on my skin.
Who is the best fight out there for him at 54? Is it Fundora, Charlo, Virgil Ortiz, Tim Tszyu? Like, this is a very good division that he's in now with a belt.
Yeah, it's a solid division that's definitely gonna test him in every department. I think each guy brings their own difficulty. That height and reach is nothing to play with. You got a guy that can actually that can punch a little bit too, and Fundora. That's nothing to play with, man. Fundora ain't a guy that, is an easy out for anybody. I think he's a very dangerous and more capable guy now, especially because now he's more disciplined and he's able to use his height and reach. And you saw that in his last fight against Tim Tszyu, who's a really good puncher, a guy that really knows how to go about his business inside the ring and get to his opposition. Of course, you got the controversy with with the heads, bleeding and, the blood dripping down his eye and blurring his vision. However, it was cool to see Fedora actually box and use his height for the first time instead of getting drugged into a firefight with shorter, stronger fighters. So I think he definitely poses a threat to Crawford, just in a different way. It'll be a very tactical fight for Crawford. I think Crawford would definitely have to get in the inside and be more aggressive, and dictate the pace of the fight, and what range he wants the fight to be fought at. You got Tim Tszyu, very, I would say somewhat crafty in a way. He's a little bit more flat-footed. I think it'd be a little bit more easier for Crawford to be able to land his offense on a guy like Tim Tszyu because he's so flat-footed and directly in front of you. But I still would like to see the fight. I would say Crawford. I would pick Crawford to beat him too. See who else? You said Charlo. Charlo
and Charlo.
Oh,
Virgil and Charlo.
Charlo will get his ass whooped. Charlo, it is what it is. I mean, dude, he got too much stuff going on outside the ring. Them demons will follow him inside that ring with Crawford. You just don't know how serious you can take a Charlo, any Charlo at this moment, and how real it is and how much they want to be actually fighting in this sport and be real contenders and champions again. So until I see a change in personality and change of character and they not going through all the mess they going through, then Crawford all day. Crawford all day, 7 days a week. All he has to do is worry about the right hand, and that's the shot. Yeah, he got hit with from the southpaw stance. However, he gonna go back to the drawing board and he gonna tighten that up. That's the one thing about Crawford and his team. Yeah, you got that. You got that. All right, we'll give you that. But you know what? You ain't gonna be able to get it again, and ain't nobody else gonna be able to get that shot in because now everybody gonna think that they gonna land the right hand on Crawford. They gonna go back to the drawing board, and he's gonna figure that out. So, but yeah, and then you got my man Virgil. Virgil. We don't know how good Virgil is. You know,
He fights this
don't know.
Saturday against Boachuk.
Yeah, don't.
Yeah.
But we don't know how good he is. He got a guy. He got a guy that's gonna be right in front of him. That's he likes that. He likes guys that are right in front of him. Boacek. Virgil should be able to pass this test with flying colors. This is a guy gonna stand there. He's gonna take shots. Virgil's a strong puncher, very conditioned athlete, but we don't know how good he is. We haven't seen him in the later rounds. We haven't seen him face much adversity. Throughout his career, that's not his fault. It's some is health, others is just some of the matches he's been in. But for the most part, until we see what Virgil could actually do when he's in there, my bad. A soccer ball came near me, dog. I got instincts, dog. I just
What,
move
what
out the
came?
way.
What came? A
A
bug?
soccer ball.
Oh,
A
soccer ball.
soccer
Gotcha,
ball.
gotcha.
Yeah, dog. I moved the hell out the way too. It's
Yeah.
crazy. My head out the
You
way.
got your head off the
Um,
line.
I sure did,
Yeah.
real
You got
quick.
your head off the line.
Nah, but with Virgil, I just wonder, what happens. What happens if he gets, if he gets dropped? What happens when he gets hit? What happens when he faces a real superior boxer? Someone that can counter the shit out of him. How is he going to be able to do? Can he adapt? What about in the later rounds? How's his stamina? We don't know because he stopped everybody he's been in the ring with. So
Yeah, he's fought like I think 2 rounds in the last 2 years because he's only had
yeah,
2 fights and he won both of them in the first round. So
yeah, yeah. We're judging based on that small sample sizes of him of his activity inside the ring. So, of course, I got again. I think Crawford again. Just he's just too adaptable. He can adapt to
is
anything.
Fundora the toughest out of those four then?
Um, yeah, I just
Or
think that Fedora, just his physical, his it's just his natural physical gifts, man, that he has. It's just difficult. 6'7", bro. That is difficult, man, to deal with. Them long arms, bro. It's 80 something. Like the dude is just a difficult fighter to face, man. And he's not gonna make it easy for you. And not only can he fight outside, he can fight inside as well. Yes, there are some mistakes. There are holes in his defense, with having those long arms and extending, and Crawford was gonna have to time him and things like that. But I still think that Crawford can get the job done, and I think he'll get it done in really good fashion. But I think Fedora will definitely test him for sure. So I think any of those guys, honestly, be truthful, man. I think any of those guys will definitely test him, but I don't think they will beat him. I really don't think they'll beat Crawford.
I
I
just
think I think Crawford. To be honest with you, I think he will go down undefeated. He will be undefeated for sure. Once he retires. But if he continues to test his luck and go up and wait and want to face Canelo, I don't know. I'm rooting for my man. If he was to fight Canelo, I'm a root for Crawford, man. I got his back 1,000%. But boy, that is not an easy fight. That is not an easy fight, man. It's not. I know that I'm not stupid, but again, if there's somebody, if it was somebody in the sport that I really trust and know that will work his tail off and to give his best effort, man, that is one of the most competitive persons that I've ever met on planet Earth. It's him. It's Crawford.
well, Jim Lampley kind of said some of the things you said there. I know you're not agreeing with his sentiment that it's not a great idea to fight Canelo. You give him a good shot to beat Canelo, but he did say if he were to just stick around 154, he could be one of the few fighters that retired undefeated. Like, like you mentioned about him going out without a loss. So
You
I'm
know,
just curious what the plan B is if he doesn't land Canelo. If at almost 37 he really is still motivated by grabbing 4 belts in the division in big fights, but not the blockbuster he's looking for against Canelo. I'm just curious to see where he goes if Canelo, goes elsewhere. So
well, I wouldn't look, man. Why you like Crawford like history, right? He likes
yeah.
history. He likes to make history. Why don't you go up to 160 and challenge one of those champions there?
Well, he held his
You
own
know,
just fine with Adames in sparring, who's the
let's
WBC champ at 160.
let's go up to 160. I mean, you wanna continue to test and see, how far you can go. All right, you just won a world championship at 54. You fought, arguably one of the best at 54, if not the best at 54. Go up to 160 and challenge the guy there, Carlos Adames or any of those guys there.
With
Take their
Janabek.
time. Now you're a 5 division world champion. And then, now then you say, okay, Canelo, I won 54, 60. Let's go, 68. But I don't know how many more fights Crawford got left in him, man. I think he could be on his way out. He's looking for the big payday, the big finish. Um, in the twilight of his career, and he's just, Canelo's that guy that's on his mind, and of course, Canelo's the biggest challenge out there, and he pays the most. So, but if he can't get that guy in the ring, man, I wouldn't mind seeing him fight against the Boots. A young gun on the way up.
Especially if he could somehow make 47 still, but I don't know about all that. He
Oh,
said
no, no,
54
no,
was he
nah,
said
Boots.
54 was hard to make even. So yeah.
Nah, 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 nah. Boots want that smoke. Boots got to see
Go
him
to
at
see
his.
him at 54.
Yeah, Boots got to come see him at 54. Crawford got a strap now. It's like, bro, you want this fight? You've been talking. Let's go. That's a fight that I think that a lot of people will buy as well. I
Did
think
you
it's a
see they
lot
saw
bigger
each
for the
other
people.
at the weigh-in?
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah.
I did
Got a
see
little
that. That's
body
not.
language expert analysis for us.
Nah, it was just, you see the young lion just sitting in the cut, and those Boots sitting in the cut, just looking like, I'm gonna take over that pride. You know what I mean? He's sitting on the outskirts, just like, okay, on my time, if I get an opportunity, I'm gonna take over that pride. He's just letting Terence just do his thing, and Terence walk by like, hey, you know what you see, you know exactly what you see. This is me. This is my throne. You know what I'm saying? And you wanted to throne me, get in line. Get in line, kid. That's the way Terence walked by. Like Terence knew. Terence wasn't spooked whatsoever.
No.
He looked super confident. And yeah, I think he told him, he was like, I thought you said you weren't gonna be here, which is interesting because Terence Terence somewhat, fall if Terence know that he said that, then Terence is definitely looking at videos of, people are calling him and saying Boo said this or whatever. I mean, that means that Terence is paying attention.
You're on the
You know?
radar.
Of course.
Right, because
Of
if you
course.
weren't, I could have just walked right by you like you don't exist.
Yeah, I mean he could have done that, but he didn't. He let him know, like, oh, I thought you said that you caught him in his own lie. And he caught him in his lie. He was like, I thought you said you weren't gonna come to my fight. You weren't gonna watch it. And you here? Yeah. Uh-huh. Yep, I got you. So, but let's see what happens, man. I mean, Crawford's gonna take a long break, I'm sure. But I thought it was a spectacular performance, man. I saw a little bit of everything from Crawford, especially being out of the ring for over a year, bro. Like, I was expecting him to be a lot more rustier, and he wasn't. He was sharp. My gosh, his reactions were sharp. That jab was on point. That body work was on point. Those uppercut counters was on point, bro. Like he did a little bit of everything for everybody, man. And he was patient too. He was real patient. He was expecting a certain fight and he still was able to figure it out. He was expecting Madrimov to come forward and be a little bit more aggressive and take risk and lunge. And Madrimov didn't do that. And sometimes that can throw a fighter off. I remember when I fought Manny Pacquiao at the third time, I expected him to come at me, charge me more. But Manny was very patient when he fought me, and in the third time, and I was just like, and I was thrown off by that because I was like, damn, like he's so patient. He's not giving me what I want. He's not giving me what I want. He's not attacking me, and it made it difficult for me, man. And I got impatient, and when I got impatient, he made me pay. Crawford didn't do that. Crawford stayed real patient right along with him. He chose his spots well. Yes, he got hit. This is boxing. You're going to get hit, but he was able to take the shot, no problem. And he was able to bounce back, and do what he had to do within those rounds, those combinations. See, the one thing that Crawford was missing, and when I was watching, I was screaming, was that Madrimov didn't counter until Crawford usually would finish, or Madrimov would actually throw when Crawford would fall asleep. So Madrimov would time Crawford. First of all, when he's in front of him, he's bouncing, and then he'll let that right hand go, and he'll catch Crawford by surprise. And then he would only counter him after Crawford got done working. So if Crawford kept his head, he would work his combinations, and he stayed in range or near range, then Madrimov would try to counter him. But you never saw Madrimov trying to counter in between those shots. You never really see him do that. So Crawford should have put more combinations together. And as you can see, when he put those combinations together, Madrimov was just trying to hide. Yeah, he was just trying to hide, trying to get away from them shits. Early on, Crawford could have put those combinations together, man. And I said this in the breakdown because I noticed that Madrimov doesn't punch really well in between. He doesn't know how to punch in between, And once Crawford started putting those combinations together, I was like, yeah, he should have been doing that from the jump, because man, he probably could have got him up out of there if he would have put those combinations together a little bit earlier, because Madrimov will not throw anything until you're done throwing, because he's looking to get the hell out of the way. And those shots that Crawford are throwing are deadly too. They not no light shots. Those shots hurt, man, and they're very accurate and precise. So, but anyways, once Crawford started putting those combinations together, I was like, yeah, that's it right there. That's how you control the big bull. A guy that comes forward, a guy that likes to be the bully. That's how you can control that guy. And once he did that, I was like, oh, it's a wrap. Crawford's putting it in the bag now. I heard the commentating and stuff like that. They were split in half. You had Mora that was saying that it was a close fight, and then you had Sean that was saying, oh, it's a landslide. It's a landslide. I thought that was very interesting for what each guy's take, looking at the broadcast and stuff like that.
Sean actually, he said he knew the fight was going to go the distance heading in. So I think maybe he wasn't as blown away by Madrimov holding his own throughout a lot of the fight, because he expected it to go the distance, whereas a lot of us thought Crawford was just going to get him out of there. Even though Madrimov's a good fighter, still thought Crawford would keep the KO streak going.
It wasn't many people that thought, and there wasn't many experts that thought that he was just going to get him up out of there. We thought he was going to break him down, and he had a possibility.
Well, yeah, I just mean inside of 12. They thought he'd keep the KO streak going.
Oh, he could have. No. He could. I think Crawford could. Man, I think he could have got it. But see, again, when you got a guy that's not willing to open up, bro, and give you that, makes it a little bit more difficult. This guy was a lot more tame than we've seen him, bro. He was a lot more under control than we've seen him in the past, bro.
Well,
I watched 3 of his fights. I'm telling you, I watched 3 of his fights. His most recent fights, and he took more risk. He didn't want to take a risk against Crawford, bro, and that's the reason why he lost his title. It's because he wasn't willing to take the necessary risk. He didn't defend his championship. He didn't defend it, man. So we talking about take it from the champion. Well, he didn't defend it. He didn't defend that championship. He didn't hold it down. If he would have put out a little bit more on the back end, than just landing single punches at a time, right hand here, right hand there, dude, he probably could have done something. But for the most part, 116, 112 on my scorecard, give or take a round, be 115, 113, whatever it is. But Crawford, in my opinion, there was no way you could take that fight from Crawford. Absolutely no way. Anybody that's screaming robbery and all that stuff like that, bro, y'all lost your damn mind. Lost your damn mind. Crawford beat him in every single department, including the body work. Crawford beat him in. So,
well, yeah, to your point, Bomac said before the fight, when I talked to him about it, he said, I'm like, Bo, this guy likes to get flashy with his footwork. He drops his lead hand. as he starts to get comfortable. And he said, basically, I bet you that's not going to happen. I bet you he keeps his hands up. And yeah, I remember Clarissa Shields saying the same thing about Savannah Marshall. So, there was an instance where he kind of made Madrimov do the more traditional Eastern European style, more like what Lomachenko does, keeping the hands up, feint, 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 and not switch a whole lot like he did, like he usually does. He'll switch mid combination. He didn't really switch the feet that often, and he kept his hands up and fought a good, disciplined fight, but didn't go into his full arsenal because of what you're talking about. Terence
Yeah, because
limiting him.
he didn't want to. Yeah, Terence limited all of that. Took that all away. Took all that away. Took all that confidence away from him. Literally took it all away. Shit. Madrimov showed Crawford so much respect, bro. It's crazy. You the bigger guy. You the bigger guy in there. He in your division. You the champion. You show that much respect. Huh. Crawford doing something right in there, man. He doing something right. And y'all know. I mean, look, man. I'm keeping it 100 with y'all, man. Like what Crawford did this past weekend, bro. To me was exceptional, bro. Exceptional work, man. Especially being at 37 years old or 36 years old, bro. Being in probably his 13 to 14 year in sport, maybe even longer than that. You know, a year off and to look that sharp, bro. Wow. Wow, that dude is special, man. That dude is special. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm honored, bro. I'm honored to know Terence Crawford and share the ring with him and sparring and stuff like that, man. And but I knew this was coming, man. I predicted this shit years ago, man. And the kid has surpassed everything that I predicted. I thought he'd be, definitely pound for pound number one, but this dude is literally an icon, man. He's an icon, and he's one of those guys that everybody, people can look up to or should look up to. He's one of those guys that I'll say that I would look at my son and say, that's who you need to be inspired to be. That guy right there. He's a family guy. He works hard. He's so disciplined, outside the ring, discipline, you know. He's a model. He's a model, a great model citizen that I think that you should be like. You know what I mean? Like Crawford's that type of guy, in my eyes, man. So um I'm proud of him, man. I'm proud of him, and I hope he get that Canelo fight. And I'm rooting for him, and I hope he can pull it off. I hope he can. I hope he can pull it off, man. So